Alright guys, we made it. Oh my god. Alright, I don't know about you. I don't know how many times you've refreshed the Play Runeterra Twitter, but I've definitely been refreshing it way more than I like as of late. I was hoping it would be last week. We finally got it this week. We have Call of the Mountain spoilers. And what do I mean by Call of the Mountain, you might ask? Well, I mean, that's the name of the new set that Targon will be released in. And that's right, yes, Targon is confirmed to be the new region for the next expansion of Legends of Runeterra. And today, Riot has graciously blessed us with 4 cards to be previewed, as well as, most importantly, a new keyword that will definitely end up shaking things up. So, if you can't tell, I am super excited. I just want to start talking about these cards. So, without further ado, let's get into the 4 brand new cards from the next Legends of Runeterra set, Call of the Mountain. Alright guys, first up, we have a new, oh man, I can't stop smiling. This is, man, I love this game so much. I'm so excited to have new cards. Alright, first up, we have a new keyword. Whew. Alright, I gotta calm myself down for a second. That new keyword is, wait, hold on. Guys, you gotta subscribe. Sorry, I had to. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video if you like the video. It helps. All of it helps. Okay, anyways, new keyword is Spellshield. Alright, Spellshield is exactly what you think it is. I'm going to pull it up for you guys straight from the video that they did release. So Spellshield nullifies the next enemy spell or skill that would affect this unit. And by this unit, obviously, they're referring to the unit that actually has the Spellshield on them, similar to something like Barrier. So I imagine there will be a similar animation as well when we do see this keyword actually get applied to some units. Maybe like a blue one instead of the one they have now. Who knows? So, what are my thoughts on Spellshield? Well, honestly, this seemed like a no-brainer. Actually, I just, before this got released today, commented on a YouTube comment from a previous video where somebody asked me, hey, SJW, what do you think about, what's going to happen with Targon in the new set? Do you have any guesses? And one of my guesses was more defensive type stuff, as well as a new keyword like, I think I literally said Spellshield, or I at least said something along the lines of negate the next spell that targets this follower. Based on League of Legends lore and a lot of other things, it seemed like that's where the class should head. It has a little bit of similarities with Ionia, as well as a class like Demacia. When I look at these regions, I like to think that the way that Riot is designing the game, each region kind of splits to other regions, kind of like a color wheel, right? And in this case, at least from the looks of it so far, it's splitting Ionia and Demacia. Now, from a card game point of view, Spellshield also makes sense. It's a common type of keyword in a lot of other card games. Makes sense that they would introduce it pretty early on in the life cycle of this game. With this particular iteration of Spellshield, I like how it also includes skills. So very critically includes skills here. We're going to take a look at how this is worded. So with that said, my question, based on the wording, is does this interact like Fizz? So Fizz essentially has a permanent spell shield that gets activated every time you play a spell from your hand, which also begs the question, will they update Fizz to basically say gain spell shield when, I don't know, I don't think they need to. Fizz kind of has his own interaction with the elusive thing as well, but I digress. Basically, let's say you have something like Static Shock that's targeting 2 units. One of the units you use a card later on. We're going to see the first card with Spell Shield actually be at the end of this video, so make sure you stick around to see that one. But let's say you target 2 things with Static Shock. Your opponent Spell Shields one of them in response. Does it negate the entire spell? From the way this is worded, I do not think so. If you guys have, any ideas, comment below with what you think or how you think this will actually interact with something like Static Shock. I personally think it will just negate the 1 damage on the 1 unit. The other unit will still take the 1 damage. The reason I say that is the way it's worded, right? It says nullify. It does not say negate. It does not say counter. It does not say basically what deny says. Deny specifically says stop, which basically means cancel, no go. It's not working at all. This does not say stop. Fizz also says stop. So it's a very key difference there in nullify and stop. That's why I think that it treats static shock the way it does. Now, the second part of this says that would affect this unit. Does not say that would target this unit. So that means any sort of AoE like Avalanche, like, wait for it, Ruination would not work on this. Now, again, this is just my interpretation of the card. Not 100%. I'm like 99.9% sure. I mean, hey, I know some stuff about card games. But again, if you guys disagree, if you guys think it might work or interact a little bit differently, put your thoughts in the description below. On a side note, I would also like to see in the future Spellshield 2, 3, 4 be a thing. Maybe a unit comes in with 2 Spell Shield, Spellshield 2, right? That way the next 2 things actually are prevented. That might be a little bit busted if you start to have multiple spell shields that can stack. They might go the way of barrier where this cannot actually ever stack. I would not be surprised, but I still think a tune needs to be a tune 1, 2, 3, 4. God. All right, so now we're done with the keyword. First card revealed is going to be Tayari the Traveler. So I see this. I see a 2/2 for 2. Costs 2. I read it. And then after I'm done reading it, I go, wait a second, there's 2 words missing from that text. And those 2 words are this round. So let's pull up something like War Chefs. We have War Chefs that adds +1/+1 for the round. Big difference right away getting it permanently. This buff does not leave. At least that's how I'm interpreting it. This buff stays on whatever the supported unit is. So now we start to trade off some stats here. We see that War Chefs and Tayari are both 2 costs. Tayari has 1 less health. To me, you're basically trading +1/+1 for +0/+2. You're just changing it from 1/1 to 0/2. Pretty even as far as that's concerned with the support effect. It's equal. However, when you take away that 1 health, basically what you're gaining in Tayari is that you are getting the permanence of that 2 health buff. So, is it worth losing 1 health, being a 2 health unit, not a 3 health? We do know that that's a very critical break point as far as something like Mystic Shot being able to kill the unit. Honestly, yes, I 100% think it's worth it, and it's worth it because of the other cards that are also revealed in this set. And if they're going to support cards as much as I think they are, and as they already have shown off here, I think this card will be incredibly good if you're able to curve out on turns 3, 4, and 5. So the verdict is, tentatively, I think that this could be a better version of War Chefs. Oh, and does this mean Vlad and Crimson might be good? You didn't hear that from me. I don't know. Next up, we have Arbiter the Peak. The next card is actually another support card, which I can't wait to go over. But Arbiter the Peak is definitely a weird card. First off, I love the card artwork. I think it's great. It matches the Celestial type video that they just released yesterday to preview the region. But card design-wise, it's a little bit questionable in my eyes. It kind of screams like, okay, Targon's going to go through some sort of like aggro type build, or maybe there's going to be support for some aggro tempo, archetype for Targon. I don't know. The only way I see this really working out is if, so the next card we're going to go over is actually a 5-drop support, character, right? So we already have a 2-drop in War Chefs. We also have a 2-drop in Herald of the Spring for Ionia. So I'm going to stick with Ionia because they also have 4-drop in Shen. So if we do get some sort of 3-drop, as well as the 5-drop support that I'm about to go over, if you're able to curve into 2, 3, 4, 5 all support followers or units, and then this on turn 6, well, I mean, that's going to be a big-ass board. Shen is a pretty healthy boy. He's got a lot of health. It could be a problem. That could be a very good aggro-type deck archetype. But, I mean, we'll see. It's going to very much depend on the rest of the support cards released for the remainder of the set. 2 other things I think are a downside for this is that Ionia in general, if you were to go Ionia, because they have a lot of the support cards, only really has Twin Disciples as far as like an attack-boosting card. To just give more to that aggro archetype. And if you compare this to something like Plaza Guardian, which sees 0 play, this might go the same route. I don't know. Overwhelm, I think, is a little bit better than Quick Attack. And I also think that this card is looking like it's going to get more support in its release set than Plaza Guardian got. So again, it's very much going to be determined on what is released in this set. All right, and next up, before we get into the Deny version 2.0 that I'm sure you guys are all waiting to talk about, because Homeboy, Deny is a thing, or it was a thing at 3 mana once. We have another great support unit that was released. This card is absolutely bonkers. If we get just one more support card, oh my god, this is totally going to be an archetype. Mountain Sojourners. Okay, boom, right out of the gate, same deal. Doesn't say this round on the card. Absolutely nuts because of that. Okay, when you summon this, right away you're looking at a 4/7 for 5 mana. All right, that's pretty decently statted for 5 mana. The only card that has better stats than that and a 5-drop is Tarkaz, which is essentially a 5/7 after you attack, but it also has the AoE. So this is a 4/7 if you do attack, but it could potentially be a 6/9. 6/9 worth of stats for 5 mana on the turn you play it if you curve out into some supports, right? Shen into this, bam. Like, what? You're looking at now a 5/7 Shen and whatever else you buff. That is a big board on turn 5. And generally speaking on turn 5, unless your opponent has like full spell mana banked, they're probably not going to have a Vengeance. And Vengeance has got to be one of the only things that'll be able to take out pretty much any of your units on the board at that point because they're all going to be at least 5 health. So here's what I'm thinking the dream is, right? You play this Ionia Targon deck. You have Herald of the Spring, which doesn't see play, but it will definitely see play if support becomes an archetype because Lifesteal is a thing. It's great. It will also help a deck like this, possibly against any burn decks that might come up. So you go turn 2, Herald of the Spring. Turn 3, we're praying they release some sort of turn 3 drop for Ionia, right? Turn 4, Shen. Turn 5, Mountain Sojourners. And then turn 6, you could go Arbiter of the Peak. I'm not really crazy about it. You might even not want to go Arbiter of the Peak. But generally speaking, if you were going to go all in on that strategy, Arbiter of the Peak would fit in nicely there at 6 mana. So, with that said, this card makes the support archetype a thing. This card will make this archetype a thing. And I hate to say it so early on in only 4 cards released, I think this card will actually get some sort of nerf down the line. Very minor. I think something like losing 1 attack, maybe even just losing 1 health would be a little bit more of a nerf. So I think they might go the attack route because I think they want the support archetype to do well, as do I. But yeah, this card is incredible. All right, and finally, Deny version 2.0, Electric Boogaloo. We got, wow, man, this card is a thing, Bastion. You know, for those of you who might be new to the game, we had this thing a while back called Deny at 3 mana. Yes, that's right, 3 mana. That means spell mana was enough to play Deny. So why is Bastion Deny 2.0? Well, basically because it negates about half of what Deny does. So, obviously, it's not going to completely counteract something like, I don't know, another Deny. You can't deny with Bastion, right? You can't do that. Other spells that are played like that don't actually affect units, you won't be able to deny. But this card does still affect pretty much all the damage, spells in the game. So we have Mystic Shot, Thermo Beam, Ravenous Flock, Make It Rain, one of the targets, Get Excited, and it also negates stuff like Single Combat, Whirling Death, and if I'm correct with how this works, Ruination. Vengeance, definitely. Ruination, you could probably save 1 unit with Spellshield if I am correct with how Spellshield works, in that it's not based off targeting, it's based off of it just being affected by the spell. Here's why I actually don't mind this card, and I don't think it's broken whatsoever. I think that at 3 mana and burst speed, it's perfectly statted, perfectly costed, with Deny now being at 4 mana. Burst speed especially. The reason why it being burst speed doesn't really inherently matter, it actually would not really be good at all if it wasn't burst speed, is that something like Frostbite will still affect your units unless you're playing this proactively for a spell shield, which is really rare. I mean, you might be doing it just to push, lethal, right? So if your opponent has a harsh winds and you have that last bit of damage, boom, you just throw on the spell shield, you guarantee that it's going to get through. That's an option, but you can't play it retroactively. You have to play it proactively because you still can't respond to a burst spell with a burst spell. It's still not possible. The burst spell resolves instantly. So for that reason, don't think this card is that bad at all. I think it gives another region something like Deny to have access to, which is great. And again, like I said, I think this region is very much splitting Ionia and Demacia, and I think that a card like this shows you from a card design point of view exactly what they're trying to do with the region. And oh my god, that is it. That is the 4 cards and the keyword that they have released for the first day. Kind of teasing us a little bit because it doesn't look like we're going to get a champion. I think they did that for... I think they did that for Rising Tides as well. I'm not sure, but tomorrow, we are probably going to get a champion, and I am super excited to go over whoever it is. Hopefully it's Tarek. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But, yeah, honestly, so excited for this set to come out. Cannot wait to see some tournament action with these cards and play them myself. Start making some crazy wonky decks. So, as always, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. Stay healthy. Stay positive. I hope shit just works for you. Peace out.